Greetings, and welcome to Jimmy's Cabinet of Curiosities. I'm Jimmy, and I'm going to be using this channel to document the process of how I make doll customs. For my first ever video, I wanted to keep the character design pretty simple, so we'll be going with my version of Frankie Stein. Naturally, the best base in this situation will be a Frankie. Overall, she's in great condition. There is some yellowing on the face and a decent amount of glue seepage in the hair. At this point, I was planning on using her original hair, so I give it a quick wash with some grease removing dish soap, shampoo, and conditioner, and then leave her to dry overnight. Coming back to her the next day, her hair already feels a lot nicer. So with that out of the way, let's get her prepped for her face up. I remove the factory paint with 100% acetone. And to seal the face up, I'll be using Mr. Super Clear UV Cut Matte Varnish. For the face up, I'll be using watercolor pencils. Starting off with a light green, I begin to sketch in the eye shapes. Lately, I've actually been skipping over this step. I'm pretty heavy-handed, and I was noticing that these early sketching phases usually ended up looking super muddy on the doll. Um, but the filming setup was pretty new to me, and I was super nervous to mess up, so I decided to go a little more cautious this time. I was thinking that this version of Frankie had learned about the world via the internet, so I imagine that she kind of based her look on current style trends. At this point, I didn't have a very clear image in my head for what I wanted her to look like, and I definitely think it shows. realized that I was just super unhappy with how her face was turning out. So I made the decision to completely erase it and start her face up from scratch. Going in with reds and browns, an actual plan, and a lot more confidence, I start to work on her face up again. I'm a pretty big fan of that e-girl style that's become popular recently, so I decided to kind of base Frankie on that style. I questioned if I even wanted to upload the process of this doll in the first place. It seemed like I just kept having to make up and going back to fix the mistakes that I've made. But I think it's good to acknowledge that when working on an art project, things can either go very right or very wrong, and it is important to kind of trust the process. Even if you mess up every step of the way, you can still end up with a piece of art that you're happy with. Going in with some soft pastels, I work on my favorite part of doll customizing, the blushing. I keep seeing this really cool makeup trend where people are drawing designs on their cheeks into their blush, and I just think it's the coolest thing ever. So I decided to use her face scar to kind of reference that makeup look. I didn't like how the blushing on her face was looking, so I very carefully acetone it off and try again. Before adding the finishing touches to her face up, I move on to body blushing. Like I said earlier, blushing is one of my favorite parts of doll customizing. I feel like adding blush can just add so much life into a doll and add so much extra dimension to all of the incredible sculpting that's usually a little bit harder to see on these dolls. Once her body is blushed, I give her a quick spray of MSC, and as an added layer of protection, I give her 2 coats of Duraclear matte varnish because I'm very clumsy and she will be dropped. Then, using some Liquitex High Gloss varnish, I gloss up her eyes and lips. hair out of the wrapping, and oh look, I messed up again. My masking wasn't done very well on the left side of her face, so it didn't get blushed, so I quickly patched it up off camera. After a few attempts of trying to find a hairstyle I like, I realized that I'm just not liking this hair, but I do have some yarn that is a perfect color match, so I made some wefts out of that and removed the hair from her head. I paint her scalp in the corresponding colors both as a guide for me and to help hide any bald spots that might show through. Keeping in trend with the e-girl style I've been going for, I decided to give her that hairstyle with the different colored bangs. So I work my way around the head from the bottom, gluing on the hair, and cutting it to the length I want as I go.
So the best conductors would be those who played fastest. And there would be composers who wrote only finales. People go to concert just to hear one crashing chord, because that's the end. And then when they're 65, they don't have any energy left, they go and rot in an old people's senior citizens community. Because we've simply cheated ourselves the whole way down the line.
After a few hours of gluing and cutting, the hair is done. I have this Wave 1 Frankie here, and I really wanted to pay homage to her original outfit. The biggest elements I'll be pulling from are going to be her chain belt and the fishnet sleeves. I I wanted her to have a graphic tee, so I thought I would honor my favorite artist, Junji Ito, and paint on a poorly done drawing of his character Tomie in acrylic paint. I am going to steal just the top mesh part of this factory dress. I made her a simple pleated skirt, then using an old necklace chain, I sew it onto her skirt to act as the chain belt. I attach a cute little spider charm to her belt as a fun little reference to my logo. For her shoes, I'm going to customize this pair of Claudine shoes. As you can see, they have been the subject to some prior experimentation. I take an X-Acto knife and cut the shoes down to be ankle boots. If I seem like I'm being overly cautious with the X-Acto knife, it's because I was. This is the first X-Acto knife I've ever owned, and within minutes of taking it out of the package for the first time, I gave myself a pretty gnarly injury. I wanted to give this outfit a pair of chunky platforms. After drying and sanding, I paint the entire shoe in black acrylic paint. Going in with silver and gray acrylic paint, I define the buckles and the zipper. And with that, she's done. All that's left now is to get her dressed. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how she turned out, even though I had quite a few screw-ups along the way. Long way since I first started, and I'm really excited to see where I'll go in the future. I would love it if you would leave me a comment telling me your thoughts on how she turned out. Thank you so much for watching. Keep it spooky.